Have you ever found yourself feeling alone, even when surrounded by people? Perhaps you've noticed that friendships are harder to maintain, or that finding a meaningful relationship feels like an impossible task. If this resonates with you, dear friend, know that you are not alone in feeling this way. In fact, there's a profound reason behind this sense of solitude, one that speaks to your inner light and spiritual depth. As the Buddha once said, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." This wisdom reminds us that solitude is not a punishment, but a sacred space for growth. In this video, we'll explore the 7 reasons why the chosen ones, those who carry a unique spiritual light, often find themselves walking a solitary path. This journey is not one of loneliness, but of preparation, healing, and alignment with a higher purpose. So, let's dive deep into the heart of this matter, and by the end, you'll see that your solitude is not a burden, but a divine gift. Reason 1. Your light reveals the shadows in others. The first reason why the chosen ones often find themselves alone is that their light is so bright, it reveals the shadows in others. Think of it this way: when you shine a light in a dark room, everything hidden in the corners becomes visible. Similarly, your energy, your authenticity, your truth, has a way of exposing the insecurities, fears, and untruths that others may be hiding. This can be uncomfortable for those around you. Without even realizing it, they may feel exposed or vulnerable in your presence. Your light acts as a mirror, reflecting back their own inner struggles. And because most people are not ready to face their shadows, they may instinctively pull away from you. As the Buddha taught, 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Your truth is a powerful force, and while it may drive some people away, it also attracts those who are ready to walk in the light. But why does this happen? It's because your energy is a catalyst for transformation. When people are around you, they feel a subtle shift, a call to confront their own fears, insecurities, and unresolved emotions. For some, this is too much to bear. They may not be ready to face their own darkness, and so they retreat, leaving you to walk your path alone. However, this is not a reflection of your worth or your ability to connect with others. It's simply a sign that your energy is too powerful for those who are not yet ready to grow. As the Buddha said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Your light is a reminder to others of what they could become, and for some, that reminder is too confronting. But take heart, dear friend. This solitude is not a punishment. It's a sign that you are living in alignment with your true self. And as you continue to shine your light, you will attract those who are ready to walk beside you, not away from you. Reason 2. Your vibrational frequency is higher. The second reason is tied to your vibrational frequency. Everything in the universe, including us, emits energy. And as a chosen one, your energy vibrates at a higher frequency than most. This is not something you can control. It's simply who you are. When your frequency rises, you begin to see the world differently. You notice things you never did before. The beauty in small moments, the interconnectedness of all life, and the importance of inner peace. But with this heightened awareness comes a lower tolerance for negativity, drama, and superficiality. As the Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This is why you may find yourself distancing from certain people, not out of judgment, but out of a deep need to protect your peace. Your inner circle may shrink, but those who remain will be the ones who truly resonate with your soul. But what does it mean to have a higher vibrational frequency? It means that you are more attuned to the subtle energies of the universe. You can sense when someone is being dishonest, when a situation is out of alignment, or when a relationship is draining your energy. This sensitivity is a gift, but it can also be a challenge. For example, you may find it difficult to engage in small talk or superficial conversations. You crave depth and meaning, and when you don't find it, you may feel disconnected or alone. This is not a flaw. It's a sign that you are operating at a higher level of consciousness. As the Buddha taught, the way is not in the sky. The way is in the heart. Your heart is your compass, guiding you toward what truly matters. And while this may lead you away from certain people or situations, it will also lead you closer to your true self and your divine purpose. So embrace your sensitivity. It is not a weakness, but a strength. And as you continue to raise your vibration, you will attract those who are ready to meet you at your level. Reason 3. You are above the norms of this world. The third reason is that you simply don't fit into the conventional norms of this world. Chosen ones are often ahead of their time, seeing possibilities and truths that others cannot yet grasp. This can make it difficult to connect with those who are still caught up in the materialistic, ego-driven aspects of life. As the Buddha wisely said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment." This teaching reminds us to stay grounded in the here and now, but it also speaks to the unique perspective of the chosen ones. You see the world through a lens of higher consciousness, and this can create a sense of isolation. But why is this? It's because you are not bound by the same limitations as others. You see beyond the surface, beyond the illusions of status, wealth, and power. You understand that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external achievements. This can make it difficult to relate to those who are still chasing after material success or societal approval. You may find that your values and priorities are different from those around you. While others are focused on climbing the corporate ladder or accumulating possessions, you are more interested in spiritual growth, inner peace, and making a positive impact on the world. As the Buddha taught, health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship. These are the things that matter most to you, and they are not always understood or appreciated by those around you. But take heart, dear friend. Your perspective is a gift, not a curse. It allows you to see the world in a way that others cannot, and it gives you the power to create a life that is truly meaningful. So embrace your uniqueness. You are not here to fit in, you are here to stand out. And as you continue to walk your path, you will inspire others to do the same. Reason 4. Many people drain your energy. The fourth reason is that many people unconsciously drain your energy. As a chosen one, your light is magnetic. People are drawn to you because they sense your positivity, wisdom, and strength. But not everyone is equipped to match your energy. This creates an imbalance. While you give freely of your light, others may take without offering anything in return. Over time, this can leave you feeling exhausted and depleted. As the Buddha taught, you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Similarly, you are not punished for your light, but you may feel the weight of carrying it alone. This is why it's so important to set boundaries and protect your energy. But how do you do this? It starts with recognizing when someone is draining your energy. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do you feel uplifted and inspired, or do you feel drained and depleted? Once you've identified the energy vampires in your life, it's time to set boundaries. This may mean limiting your time with them, saying no to their demands, or even cutting ties altogether. As the Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. By protecting your energy, you create a space for peace and positivity to flourish. So, take care of yourself, dear friend. Your light is a precious gift, and it's up to you to protect it. Reason 5. Few people can truly help you. The fifth reason why the chosen ones often find themselves alone is that few people can truly help them on their journey. Chosen ones possess a depth of spiritual and emotional understanding that most people cannot reach. While they are often the ones offering guidance, support, and light to others, it's rare to find someone who can reciprocate that same level of understanding and support. As the Buddha once said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." This teaching reminds us that while we may seek help and companionship, the ultimate responsibility for our growth and healing lies within us. Chosen ones are often the pillars of strength for their families, friends, and communities. They are the ones people turn to in times of crisis, the ones who offer wisdom and comfort when others are lost. But who do the chosen ones turn to when they need help? This is where the loneliness often creeps in. The truth is, most people are not equipped to handle the depth of a chosen one's spiritual and emotional needs. They may offer well-meaning advice or superficial support, but it rarely touches the core of what the chosen one is experiencing. This can leave the chosen one feeling isolated, even when surrounded by people who care about them. For example, Imagine a chosen one going through a profound spiritual awakening. They may be experiencing intense emotions, vivid dreams, or a deep sense of disconnection from the material world. When they try to share these experiences with others, they are often met with confusion, skepticism, or even dismissal. As the Buddha taught, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. This is why it's so important for chosen ones to cultivate self-reliance and inner strength. They must learn to trust their own intuition, to find solace in their own company, and to seek guidance from within. But this doesn't mean that chosen ones are destined to walk their path alone forever. It simply means that they must be patient and discerning when it comes to forming connections. The right people, those who can truly understand and support them, will come into their lives when the time is right. In the meantime, chosen ones can focus on building a strong relationship with themselves. They can practice self-compassion, self-care, and self-reflection. They can seek out communities of like-minded individuals, whether through spiritual groups, online forums, or local meetups. As the Buddha said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. By learning to love and support themselves, chosen ones can navigate their journey with greater ease and grace. So, if you are a chosen one feeling alone, remember that this is not a reflection of your worth or your ability to connect with others. It's simply a sign that you are operating at a level of consciousness that few can match. Trust that the universe is guiding you, and know that the right people will come into your life when you are ready. Reason 6. You are healing deep wounds. The sixth reason why the chosen ones often find themselves alone is that they are in a process of deep healing. Chosen ones are often called to confront and heal deep emotional wounds, many of which stem from past experiences, childhood traumas, or karmic patterns. As the Buddha taught, the root of suffering is attachment. This attachment can take many forms: attachment to past hurts, to old identities, or to relationships that no longer serve us. For chosen ones, the process of healing these attachments is not just a personal journey, but a spiritual one. Healing is not a linear process. It's messy, unpredictable, and often painful. Chosen ones may find themselves revisiting old wounds, reliving past traumas, and confronting emotions they thought they had buried long ago. This can be an isolating experience, especially when those around them don't understand what they're going through. For example, a chosen one may suddenly feel overwhelmed by feelings of grief, anger, or fear, even though there is no obvious trigger. These emotions may be tied to past experiences or even past lives, and they need to be acknowledged and released in order for healing to occur. As the Buddha said, pain is certain, but suffering is optional. This teaching reminds us that while we cannot avoid pain, we can choose how we respond to it. For chosen ones, this means embracing their pain as a teacher, rather than running from it or suppressing it. But healing is not something that can be rushed. It requires time, patience, and a willingness to sit with discomfort. This is why chosen ones often need periods of solitude, to process their emotions, to reflect on their experiences, and to integrate their healing. During this time, chosen ones may feel a strong urge to withdraw from the world. They may need to distance themselves from relationships, social activities, or even work commitments in order to focus on their inner work. This can be difficult for those around them to understand, especially if they are used to the chosen one being a source of strength and support. As the Buddha taught, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This is why chosen ones must prioritize their own healing, even if it means stepping away from others for a time. But healing is not just about releasing pain, it's also about reclaiming power. As chosen ones heal their wounds, they begin to see themselves in a new light. They recognize their own strength, their own resilience, and their own worth. This process of healing and empowerment is not easy, but it is essential. It prepares chosen ones for the next chapter of their lives, where they can step into their true purpose with clarity and confidence. So, if you are a chosen one in the midst of healing, know that you are not alone. Your solitude is not a punishment, it's a sacred space for transformation. Trust in the process and know that you are being guided every step of the way. Reason 7. You are being prepared for something greater. The seventh and final reason why the chosen ones often find themselves alone is that they are being prepared for something greater. The universe has a grand purpose for them, and this period of solitude is a time of preparation and alignment. As the Buddha said, "What we think, we become." This teaching reminds us that our thoughts and intentions shape our reality. For chosen ones, this means that their solitude is not an accident. It's a deliberate part of their spiritual journey. During this time, chosen ones are being shaped and refined for their higher purpose. They are learning to trust their intuition, to strengthen their connection with the divine, and to align with their true essence. This is not a process that can be rushed or forced. It requires patience, faith, and a willingness to surrender to the flow of life. For example, a chosen one may feel a strong calling to serve others, whether through healing, teaching, or creative expression. But before they can step into this role, they need to undergo a period of preparation. This may involve learning new skills, overcoming personal challenges, or simply waiting for the right timing. As the Buddha taught, the way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart. This is why chosen ones must focus on their inner journey during this time. They must cultivate self-awareness, self-love, and self-trust so that they can step into their purpose with confidence and clarity. But preparation is not just about personal growth. It's also about aligning with the divine timing of the universe. The universe is orchestrating events behind the scenes, bringing together the right people, opportunities, and circumstances at the right time. For chosen ones, this means that their solitude is not a sign of abandonment. It's a sign of divine timing. They are being prepared for something greater, something that will require all of their strength, wisdom, and love. So if you are a chosen one feeling alone, know that this is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning. Your solitude is a sacred space for preparation, a time to align with your true purpose and prepare for the next chapter of your life. As the Buddha said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Trust in your journey and know that you are being guided every step of the way. So my dear friends, if you find yourself walking a solitary path, know that this is not a punishment but a divine preparation. Your solitude is a sacred space for growth, healing, and alignment with your higher purpose. As the Buddha taught, the way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart. Trust in your journey and know that the right people will come into your life when the time is right. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery. If this message resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Quiet Wisdom for more insights on applying Buddhist philosophy to everyday life. Until next time, remember, you are a masterpiece in progress, complete yet ever evolving. Peace and light to you all.